Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Ash, and today we are going to be creating a scar effect along the eye here that runs down the cheek and up to the nose. It'll be an interesting look, and if you want to see how this effect is created, stay tuned and we'll jump right in. Alrighty guys, and in today's video we will be using a product that I have gotten from Krylon known as Collodion. This stuff is what will be creating the scarring effect as we work with it. As it dries on the skin, it will kind of pull the skin in and create a rigid effect. This is what we'll be using as the main item. I will also be using the Mehron Bruise 505B palette. As you can see, it is very loved. We will be using the Bloody Rose color in this one. We will also be needing Spirit Gum Remover to remove the makeup afterwards. This is important. If you don't have this, you might as well be waxing yourself. I will also be to give it some more undertones. I will also be using the NYX Professional Makeup Modern Dreamer palette with the color here in this corner. They don't have names. It is just referred to as color number 1. And brushes that I will be using in this video today will be my Morphe M124 brush, along with my Morphe M250-0, and along with, it doesn't have to be another Morphe brush, it can also be a paintbrush that is about the same size and width as the Morphe 250-0. These are the 3 brushes that will be used, and as stated before, you will also be needing Spirit Gum Remover to clean these with. From the product that will be used, along with what I like to use, because it is strong enough, it also disinfects my brushes, I use medical grade alcohol, 99.9%. This will also get this off of your brushes, and it will get the cream-based makeup out of your brushes as well very easily. You are welcome to use any brush cleaner that you like that will actually get it out. That's just my preference. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right into this makeup look, and yeah, let's begin. Alrighty, to begin the look, as you can see, I pulled my hair back so it doesn't get into the makeup. Trust me, I have done it before, and it is the worst thing in the world. Now, we are going to start with the paintbrush, and we are going to start with the Bloody Rose in the Morphe Bruise palette. We're gonna start with this color over here. We are going to very lightly trace out where we want the scar to go before actually laying down the collodion. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Follow along as you wish. Alrighty, once you have mapped out where you want your scar to go, you're pretty much ready to go. We are going to, however, go in with, you'd think I would have this down by now, a Q-tip, and give it a slight rub to kind of, I'll find the word. You don't want it to be as harsh as it is. This is kind of like a mapping, so we're gonna go in with a Q-tip and just give it a dab and a slight rub to kind of soften it a little bit. am then going to go in with my M124 here, and I am going to give it a little bit more of a buff out.
Frag Out!
Alrighty, so this is what it should look like now. And yes, I realize it is very, very distinctive looking, and we don't want it quite that harsh. So you're actually gonna go in with, as soon as I can reach it, some tissue. Yes, there is a whole process to all of this. I promise it'll turn out good. But we're gonna try and see if we can't wipe away some more of this makeup and make it less harsh. Alrighty, I don't know about you, but I am feeling pretty good about how it's looking now. So now, as you've noticed, the Collodion that we will be using does come with a brush in it. But I don't really like that brush. It's not very precise, as I like to call it. Now, when working with this stuff, one layer is usually not enough, and you're going to have to go in several times. So I will show you the first couple of layers, or the first layer, and you always want to make the edges as thin as you possibly can. You don't want them to really gouge in there, because scars don't really look like that. They're usually the most gouged towards the center, like in these areas here. Not so much here at the edges. So you kind of want it just kind of blend with your skin, just like with foundation or eyeshadow or anything else you would do for makeup. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this, and I am actually going to go in with my Morphe M250-0 brush for this. And we're just going to take the cap off, set it aside, and just dip our brush straight into this and go on from there. So let's get started. Alrighty, now I have actually completed the first layer and it is drying, and as you are feeling it dry on your skin, you'll start to feel the areas where that you have put it start to tighten, and when you flex your face, it'll feel like your face is being pulled apart. It's totally normal. It'll feel a little weird, it'll feel kind of ticklish, but it's okay. I promise. The end result will look amazing. So I am going to go in, I am going to continue with the layers, and I will come back and I will show you a little more in detail how it'll look. Alrighty? Alrighty guys, I have actually finished putting on my Collodion. I did put on about 7 to 8 layers. depending on the depth of your scar that you're wanting, is dependent on how many layers you're going to put on. For me, I wanted it to be deep, but not too deep, so I went with just enough layers. As soon as I started getting to the depth I wanted, I stopped putting layers on. It doesn't show up very well from this far away, so I will come in just a smidge closer and I will show you. It did leave a ridge effect along my cheek here, as you can see. It has kind of got an indentation. It shows up very nicely here on my nose. And then here on the top of my eye. It also depends on your skin, really. Now, I am going to put a warning in here. When using this product, if it begins to burn, sting, or tingle, you need to take it off right away. As with anything that is an allergic reaction, which can cause some pretty painful things to happen. But other than that, it's looking great. I'm loving it. Another piece of advice is that right here on my nose where it is, whenever I lift my eyebrows, it does tug on my skin right here and it hurts. So be wary of where you put the makeup. It will tug on your skin when you flex. It will feel weird, but it's okay. Eventually you'll get used to it. Now I am actually going to go ahead and jump in and show you guys a little more up close and personal how I did it. And yes, so let's begin, shall we? Alrighty guys, I have changed the camera angle so you can see a little better as to where I'll be creating our scar. I'll be creating my scar here along my thumb area, right about here. And as before, I am going to go in with my paintbrush here. I'm going to dip into my Bloody Rose, and I'm going to create the lining of where I want my scar to be and how I want it to look. And if it helps, dilute the color a little bit on your brush. It will come in handy when doing both face or any other scar if you want it to be very faint and not very visible and more healed looking.
Frag Out!
Alrighty, and this is how it's going to look, depending on how or where you want your scar to be. This is how I chose mine to look and where I decided to place it. I am now going to go ahead and go in with a Q-tip, of course, and I'm going to give it a buff out, just like I did with my face scar. Alrighty, as for this scar, I wanted it to look a little more healed, so I did buff it out quite a bit. As you can see, it's not as harsh. And now I am going to go back in with my Morphe M250-O and dip it into my Collodion here. As before, remove the brush and the cap. I don't really like this brush because it's not as precise as I'm wanting it to look. So I will place that off to the side. Don't worry, the brush won't get ruined. It'll be totally fine. We'll just set this here. We're gonna go in with our brush and we're gonna just dip straight in and apply it where the scar is. Now remember, you want your edges to blend out into your skin as you go. You don't want it to be too harsh right at the beginning, because if it is, it will not look realistic. And with anything else, always, always take your time. If you take your time, the better the look will come out. Alrighty, as you can see, it is on there, it is drying. And when I unflex my hand, it leaves a rippling effect, which what scars do usually do. And as before, depending on the depth of your scar is dependent on how many layers you're going to put on. Alrighty, and there you have it. That is the scar that I wanted to create. It is exactly how I wanted it to look. It looks like it's a little more healed than the scar on my face. And you can create this look at home. It's a lot of fun, it's super easy, and if you ever want to creep out your friends. Alrighty, and there it is. There is my scar that I created on my hand. As you can see, it is pretty deep for a scar. It is much more faded, and it looks amazing. And I am actually very pleased with how this turned out. Alrighty guys, and that concludes today's look. And this is something that you can wear on Halloween or to simply prank somebody, and I love it. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, because this is a channel where both beauty and horror come together. All right, we'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.